Akbar the Great was one of the most remarkable rulers in the history of the Indian subcontinent, not merely because of the vast empire he built, but because of the vision, wisdom, and humanity with which he ruled. His life story is not just the story of a king, but the journey of a boy born in hardship who rose to shape an age. This is the complete story of Jalal-ud-Din Muhammad Akbar, told as a continuous narration, meant to be heard slowly, deeply, and thoughtfully. Akbar was born on the 15th of October in the year 1542 in the desert fortress of Umarkot in present-day Sindh. His birth did not take place in a palace filled with celebration, but in exile, uncertainty, and fear. His father, Humayun, the second Mughal emperor, had been defeated by Sher Shah Suri and was wandering from place to place, struggling to survive. The Mughal Empire, founded by Babur only a few decades earlier, seemed on the verge of collapse. Akbar's mother, Hamida Banu Begum, endured extreme hardship during her pregnancy. The royal family lived like refugees, often dependent on the kindness of local rulers. Yet even in those dark days, there was a sense of destiny surrounding the newborn child. Humayun believed that his son was born under a fortunate star, and he named him Jalal-ud-Din Muhammad. The name Akbar, meaning the Great, would be given later by history itself. Akbar's childhood was unlike that of most princes. He did not grow up surrounded by tutors, libraries, and luxury. Instead, he was raised in military camps, deserts, and fortresses. He learned to ride horses before he could properly read or write. In fact, Akbar remained illiterate throughout his life, but this never limited his intellect. He possessed a powerful memory and an intense curiosity. Scholars, poets, and historians would read aloud to him, and he absorbed knowledge through listening and discussion. As a child, Akbar showed extraordinary physical strength and bravery. He loved hunting dangerous animals, training with weapons, and spending time with soldiers. These early experiences made him fearless and grounded. He understood the lives of common soldiers and ordinary people far better than most kings. In 1555, when Akbar was about 13 years old, Humayun finally reclaimed the Mughal throne with the help of the Safavid rulers of Persia. Delhi once again came under Mughal control. For the first time, Akbar stood as the prince of a restored empire. But this moment of joy was short-lived. In January 1556, Humayun died after falling down the stairs of his library. The empire was once again thrown into uncertainty. At the age of just 13, Akbar was declared emperor. The responsibility of ruling a fragile empire fell on the shoulders of a child. Because of his young age, real power was placed in the hands of Bairam Khan, a loyal general and guardian. Akbar was crowned at Kalanur in Punjab, far from the grand throne rooms of Delhi. The Mughal Empire at this time was surrounded by enemies. Afghan nobles sought to regain power. Rajput kingdoms resisted Mughal authority, and the treasury was weak. The greatest threat came from a powerful Hindu general named Hemu, who had captured Delhi and declared himself ruler. In the same year, 1556, the fate of the Mughal Empire was decided at the Second Battle of Panipat. Hemu marched with a massive army, supported by war elephants. Akbar, still a teenager, stood on the battlefield under Bairam Khan's guidance. The battle was fierce and brutal. At a critical moment, an arrow struck Hemu in the eye, knocking him unconscious. His army panicked and fled. Victory fell to Akbar. This single battle secured the Mughal throne and marked the true beginning of Akbar's reign. Though young, he had survived the greatest threat to his empire. As Akbar grew older, he began to assert his independence. Bairam Khan's authority became overwhelming, and Akbar realized that he could not rule behind another man's shadow. In 1560, Akbar dismissed Bairam Khan from power. Instead of ordering his execution, Akbar showed mercy and allowed him to go on pilgrimage to Mecca. This act revealed Akbar's preference for forgiveness over cruelty. Now ruling in his own right, Akbar began shaping the empire according to his own vision. He understood that India was a land of immense diversity, with many religions, languages, and cultures. To rule such a land with force alone would lead to endless rebellion. Stability, he believed, could only be achieved through justice, inclusion, and tolerance. Akbar launched a series of military campaigns to consolidate Mughal authority. He conquered Malwa, Gondwana, Gujarat, Bengal, and large parts of Rajasthan. Yet his approach was different from that of many conquerors. Instead of destroying defeated rulers, he often restored them as governors under Mughal authority. This policy won loyalty and reduced resistance. One of Akbar's most significant political strategies was his alliance with the Rajputs. Rather than treating them as enemies, he welcomed them into his administration. He married Rajput princesses, respected their customs, and appointed Rajput nobles to high positions in the army and government. This policy transformed former rivals into pillars of the empire. Akbar also introduced major administrative reforms. He established a centralized system of governance, dividing the empire into provinces governed by officials responsible for revenue, military, and justice. The Mansabdari system organized nobles and military officers according to rank and salary, ensuring loyalty and efficiency. He reformed the revenue system by conducting detailed land surveys and fixing taxes based on agricultural productivity. This brought stability to farmers and increased state income. Akbar believed that a ruler's strength depended on the prosperity of his people. Religious tolerance became the cornerstone of Akbar's rule. He abolished the jizya tax on non-Muslims and ended discriminatory practices. He invited scholars of Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, Jainism, and Zoroastrianism to debates at the Ibadat Khana in Fatehpur Sikri. Akbar listened, questioned, and reflected. Over time, Akbar developed his own spiritual philosophy, known as Din-e-Ilahi. It was not a religion in the traditional sense, but a moral system emphasizing loyalty, ethics, tolerance, and devotion to one God. Though it gained few followers, it reflected Akbar's deep desire for unity among his subjects. Under Akbar, art and culture flourished. His court became a center of music, painting, literature, and architecture. The famous Navaratnas, or 9 jewels, included poets, scholars, musicians, and generals. Persian literature blended with Indian traditions, creating a unique Mughal culture. Akbar founded the city of Fatehpur Sikri, building magnificent palaces, mosques, and halls of debate. Though later abandoned due to water shortages, it remains a symbol of Akbar's grand vision. In his later years, Akbar continued expanding the empire, conquering the Deccan and strengthening Mughal dominance. Yet his personal life was marked by sorrow. His sons rebelled against him, and he faced deep emotional pain as a father. Akbar died in 1905 after ruling for nearly 50 years. He was buried at Sikandra near Agra. By the time of his death, the Mughal Empire was vast, stable, and prosperous. Akbar the Great left behind more than an empire. He left a legacy of tolerance, justice, and enlightened rule. He proved that true greatness lies not only in conquest, but in understanding, compassion, and the courage to rise above hatred. His life remains a powerful reminder that leadership guided by wisdom can change the course of history.